If you have found yourself browsing through the Nintendo eShop recently, you know just how exhilarating it is to shop for new games nowadays. I mean, with all these high prices, just listening to, nothing really, there's no more music. And oh, by the way, just don't touch this tab or that tab. They're a lost cause, you don't want to go there. And you really don't want to stay here for any more time than you absolutely need to. And if that wasn't enough, just remember now that every other part of the system's OS exudes this same bland, modern, and safe look, and it starts becoming hard to even get excited for new releases, considering the fact that even the best ones come out like a stab to the heart with these prices. My goodness, and even first-party releases have been pretty 50-50 as of late in terms of quality. Well, for me, that experience was the breaking point I needed to rise from my chair and shout to the heavens above, I need Whimsy! So I scoured the vast world of Nintendo console gaming searching for said Whimsy, but I quickly ran into a problem so big that it is intrinsic to the inner workings of the human mind itself. Unavoidable, unstoppable, all-consuming nostalgia. I've been contaminated. You see, I wanted to find true Whimsy, to understand if we had really fallen into a world of disappointment after disappointment and terrible anti-consumer practices, or if maybe all of this hate going around is just solely based on misremembering the past, a phenomena born from unchecked nostalgia. So I needed to be unaffected, to find a console experience that I had never had before, games I never gave a second thought to at all, filler material in Nintendo Directs, a platform known for its outstanding quality beloved by all of those who tried it, but also a place whose games I couldn't experience anywhere else. After a lot of searching the World Wide Web for a working unit that didn't ruin my financial as much as 3 modern Nintendo titles, I did it. I came around a listing for a working Nintendo 3DS looking as brand new as a decade-old console can, without also bankrupting my entire lineage. As soon as the little guy arrived, I obliterated the box it came in and I was ready to experience peak video game. Nope, the stores on the 3DS have been closed for a while now, so I had to spend the next 2 days legally getting my hands on copies of all major 3DS titles, as well as loading the thing with legitimate Nintendo software solutions like the FBI. I've heard Nintendo likes working with the guys over there. But once that was all done, I was left within my hands a tiny little device that blew my mind straight off of my head, and then it did a 360 and blew up again, and then it landed safely and everyone clapped. You see, I never in my life owned a handheld, and that's mainly for 2 reasons. Number 1 is I live in what's usually known as the country where capybaras come from. Little known fact, however, is that those capybaras are often armed and can steal things from you, especially if you're not careful, or a child, or both. Reason number 2 is that I lied to you. I actually did own a handheld before, a PlayStation Portable, as a kid, when I wasn't careful, and a child. I never got to finish up the video game. As a result, I've been an at-home console gamer pretty much all my life. I can count the times I took my Switch 1 outside the house in like the fingers of my 2 hands. Mostly once a year on a road trip or something. And if we're talking Switch 2, that bad boy isn't leaving this room until I get a wife. I'm not into women. And that's just the thing. Ever since Nintendo stopped dividing their consoles into handheld and home console, uniting both styles with the Switch, they kinda lost what made their portable consoles so appealing for a lot of people. These things are not cheap anymore. Nintendo used to provide handheld options that were actually low priced in the past, and it went beyond just the hardware price itself. Even some of their biggest games could cost less through the Nintendo Selects program. Quick thought experiment, what would you rather take on the bus here? A Nintendo 3DS loaded with Animal Crossing, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Luigi's Mansion, Mario & Luigi, Mario Party, an entire 3D Mario game, Star Fox, Mario Maker, Tomodachi Life, Yoshi, and sure, you can throw in 3 Zelda games in there, why not? Or Nintendo Switch 2. But that's not the main issue. Surprisingly, a lot of people do actually live in areas where they can feel safe going outside. It's pretty crazy, and also it can't really be the money, because consumers have proven that they're more than willing to throw a lot of money at Nintendo for some fancy new plastic. Heck, I did it this generation, so what really separates the Switch and Switch 2 from being these great modern portable consoles? Well, it's this. It's a phone. I'm using my phone to record. It's a phone. Phone. The 3DS released at the tail end of the pre-smartphone era. Sure, phones were already widespread at that point, but the culture behind giving your 4-year-old a magical dopamine machine wasn't as widespread as it is today. Meaning that if you wanted to game on the go, you'd play on a 3DS, or a PS Vita if you're quirky like that. The years that followed, however, would take mobile games from looking like this, to this, their slice of the modern gaming pie from this, to this, and the offices of the high executives for mainstream console manufacturers from this, to this. Convenience, practicality, time, availability, accessibility, a bunch of keywords. Phones excelled at all of these things, and by the end of its life, a 3DS, being the size that it was, looking how it looked, and playing the games like how it played them, was most definitely a direct competitor to phones, liking that reality or not. And the casual consumer base, well, they had made up their minds. So that's why Nintendo pivoted. They needed a selling point. Home console quality games on the go, something a phone to this day can hardly offer. But the Switch isn't just that, of course, it's a genius idea, perhaps the best Nintendo's ever had. It's adaptable to every user's necessities, like to play on the TV, sure, you can do that. Mostly a handheld gamer, we've got you covered too, like whatever this is, I didn't know you were a masochist, but that's okay, we've got you too. Which brings us back, finally, with all the context in the world, to the reason why this just doesn't cut it as a portable. It's too big. Yeah, you needed to hear all of that lore to understand. Home console specs just can't be shrunk down to the size of a phone without costing $1,000. People already freaked out when Nintendo approached the $500 mark with one of their products. Imagine if they tried to fit all of that gaming in the body of a base 3DS. I'm sorry, honey. The kid's gotta go. It's not really designed to be thrown into a pocket, is it? It's too big. It doesn't fit. Don't try it. You'll need a case, which is big by itself, so you'll need a backpack. And in comes the reason why you had to listen to the lore. You're outside. Speedrun time. Go! The Switch and Switch 2 are different beasts altogether. They're not directly competing with your phone because you're not using them in place of your phone. Most people I've talked to that play their Switches in handheld mode do it inside of their homes, and when they do take it outside, it's usually to go to the inside of another place, where they have the time to sit back, set up the console, and play for a while. A far cry from the instant pick up and play of past portable systems and modern smartphones. That's why my mind was blown by this little guy. This was the first time I could take something with me on the go that was easily accessible anywhere I wanted it. Play it on the bus, or in a field, or take it into the forest. When I was done, I could just slide it back into my pockets, and when I took it out again, I had some of the best Nintendo games waiting for me on the other side. Oh, speaking of games, yeah, this thing had some amazing experiences, didn't it? I'm just gonna say it right now. It was as I was getting done with 100%ing Mario 3D Land, and I was playing through Metroid Samus Returns, and then Animal Crossing New Leaf, that I started to realize this console isn't just remembered fondly because of nostalgia. This era of Nintendo, it really did have something special to it. And of course, it doesn't stop at the games themselves, it bleeds into the software of the console. The gallery comes inbuilt with silly editing tools and a slideshow function. It's all set up in stylish folders. The games all have unique 3D logos, and the Mii Maker actually has music, and I didn't even get to experience what back then was Miiverse, a place that, for all its flaws, did have something alright. Whimsy. And that's the moment when a tear rolled down my eye as I stared back at the heavens above and uttered, I found it! I found Whimsy! So I got the base 3DS model, the old one, the OG, the one that started it all. And honestly, after analyzing all of the available models in the market, this one's like the second best one overall, and the best one for my use case specifically. I could instantly discard all the XL models because I wanted something really small I could fit into a pocket, and I could discard the 2DS as well because I just didn't feel like I would get an authentic DS experience, you know? I wanted a foldy one. I need a foldy one. So it was between old and new, and the new model is a lot harder to find, and when you do find it, it's a lot more expensive while only playing a couple more games and having a look that personally doesn't feel as slick as the original. I love how analog this thing is. The volume slider is a physical slider, the Wi-Fi slider is too, and so is the 3D slider. There's lots of sliders here. It's silly and I like it. The stylus is made of metal and it can extend, I love that. All the buttons feel great and clicky, even the power button. Just don't mind these three at the bottom, they're actually kinda weird, but the D-pad is fantastic and a lot better than the Switch Pro controllers. And then there's this guy. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit scared of the circle pad. I thought I wouldn't be good, that I just wouldn't be able to get used to it, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I don't know, I just really like how it feels and it's responsive enough, alright. It glides around smoothly and it fits in the small form factor of the device, which also didn't bother me much at all in terms of comfort. I don't have particularly large hands or anything, so I actually found it more comfortable to use than the Switch 2, for example. That console always has me resting my arms after a while. The size also means that the screens are tiny. I mean, teeny tiny screens. Look at these. Just look at them next to a Switch 2 tablet or a regular phone. It's not even close. Surprisingly though, I didn't think this affected my immersion much. Given just how good and engaging these games are, I was still able to get lost in the games that I wanted to, and my brain completely forgot I was playing on a 240p display. It really makes you wonder if all these pixel pushing is worth it after all. One thing I must say though, the 3D is a relic of its time. It's a gimmick, I'm sorry. I've seen people make the argument that it's underrated, and I just turned it on to test it out on every game that supported it, and for the vast majority of titles, it's just okay. It's fine, and I'd much rather have it off to save battery life. 3D Land was actually the one that made the best use of it out of the games I played. Having the 3D on helps with depth perception and also not missing jumps. But even then, I'd just leave it off to use the console more comfortably, and also, again, to not drain the poor 10-year-old battery inside of the thing. That 10-year-old battery though, it is a trooper. I don't know if the guy who owned this previously didn't use it much or something, but coming from a Switch 2 where my first experience with the console's handheld mode was playing some rounds of Mario Kart World with friends through game chat just to find out that the console could barely last 2 hours under those circumstances, so I had to get a charger, but then there's the annoying wires everywhere and the console got hot, which I don't like. Yeah, I've been bringing my 3DS with me pretty much everywhere I go now outside the house, and I can easily get like 4 hours of battery life out of this thing with the 3D off and medium brightness, and honestly, coming from the Switch 2, that's really impressive. With all that being said, yeah, we did lose the plot somewhere along the way, didn't we? I mean, I've been having a blast with my Switch 2. It's an amazing piece of hardware, and I've been loving my time with it. And the games, they're just as good as they've always been. Mostly, there's been some duds recently, a lot more than I thought there would have been. But it does feel less magical to use in a way. I'm convinced now that this isn't just childhood nostalgia or people being blinded by the past. The design philosophy behind these Nintendo consoles really has shifted over time, and it's now a lot more professional and serious and expensive. That definitely does come with its benefits. I'm all for whimsy and fun, but there is a lot of stuff that you just can't get with an older machine, even if it does come at the cost of some personality when it realistically doesn't have any reason to. So it's not like I'm going to go back to a 3DS or a Wii permanently or anything of the sorts. Modern day Nintendo isn't all bad. We've got plenty of lively online multiplayer community-driven games, we have revolutionary platformers, we have fun racing games. I said fun racing games. But I must say, as someone who had never been exposed to this ginormous library of fantastic games, all playable and affordable that I can truly take anywhere, the 3DS has earned its spot in my routine, and I will be playing it for the year to come, and given how accessible it is, I might be playing it almost every day. If you've never owned a 3DS before, would I recommend one? Absolutely! They're a bit pricey nowadays, but what isn't? But if you wait for the perfect moment and strike when the opportunity presents itself, you could get a great deal still. And if you do have a 3DS, let me know in the comments below how it has made into your life. Did you have it as a kid? Did you come in late to the party like I did? And is the market for a truly portable Nintendo console like this one still large enough to justify a possible Nintendo Switch Mini, Nintendo Switch Micro, Nintendo Switch 2 Micro? I'd love to know what people think. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thanks to the channel patrons for supporting the content out there. And if you want to support too, you'll get some cool exclusive videos and some more neat perks. I'd highly appreciate it. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. Goodbye!